Good morning and welcome to day 2 of our virtual summer reading. Today we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to read a story called Cinderella and the Fairy God Dog. And this is a Clifford book, of course, and we all know that Mrs. B kind of likes Clifford. So let's see what Clifford gets himself into today. And of course, this is written and illustrated by Daphne. Hello, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is Clifford, my big red dog. Every night we cuddle up and my dad tells us a story. My dad loves making Clifford and me the stars of the story. Tonight we're reading Cinderella. Once upon a time, a young prince moved to a new village. He wanted to make friends, so he invited all of the villagers to a ball at his castle. The invitation said that the villagers should wear their fanciest clothes to meet the prince. At the ball, there would be dancing, games, and yummy food. All the villagers were excited, but a girl named Cinderella was sad. Everyone would be at the ball. Everyone except her. You see, Cinderella didn't have a fancy dress to wear or a carriage to take her to the ball. That meant there was no way she could go. As Cinderella imagined how much fun she would have had at a ball, and how nice it would have been to make new friends, a big red dog suddenly appeared. His name was Clifford. He explained that he was Cinderella's fairy dog father. With a wave of his magic wand, Clifford made Cinderella a beautiful dress to wear. Although it was a little slobbery. Clifford waved his wand and turned a pumpkin into a beautiful carriage. He changed some mice into horses and a frog into a driver, too. At last, Cinderella had a way to get to the ball so she could become one of the prince's new friends. But there was no time to lose. Clifford's spell would only last until midnight. Uh-oh, crack! Clifford changed his collar into a fancy bow tie. If the carriage couldn't take Cinderella to the castle, he would take her there himself. Soon Cinderella made her grand entrance at the ball. Clifford made an entrance too. Whoops. Clifford and Cinderella met the prince and said thank you for inviting them. The prince was very nice. He had never seen such a big red dog before. He really liked Clifford's giant bow tie and Cinderella's sparkly dress. As they talked, the band struck up music. Cinderella was the first to hit the dance floor, showing off her best moves. Clifford sang along to every tune. They played games next. Clifford loved musical chairs. Clifford won every round, but the prince didn't mind. He and Cinderella thought Clifford was very funny. Next, it was time for dinner. The prince's servants had cooked up the tastiest foods from all over the world. Clifford had quite a big appetite, but Cinderella saved the prince a tasty treat to share. Cinderella and her fairy dog father were having so much fun they lost track of time. It was nearly midnight. They had to get home quickly or the spell would wear off. Cinderella's fancy dress would turn into a tattered old dress again. Clifford and Cinderella left in a big hurry. There wasn't even time to say goodbye to the prince. Clifford galloped home with Cinderella on his back. They arrived home just after midnight, but something was wrong. In all the hurry to get back, Cinderella lost her slipper. Clifford ran right back to the castle to get it. Luckily, he was very good at fetch. When Clifford returned, though, he thought he had brought the prince back with him. Cinderella was nervous. The prince had met a fancy girl at the ball. Would he still want to be her friend if she was dressed in rags? Cinderella didn't have to worry. The prince liked Cinderella's sparkly dress, it is true. But he also liked her silly dance moves and fun they had playing musical chairs, and her kindness in sharing the last piece of cake with him. And the prince really liked her fairy dog father, Clifford. That night, Cinderella made a true friend. Well, 2 true friends. The end. Little bit of a twist to our regular Cinderella story. I hope you guys liked it. So we're going to have a ball of our own, and we're going to make some masquerade masks. Masquerades are the same kind of ball, except everyone wears a mask and fancy dresses or suits, and nobody really knows who anybody is because they have their masks on. So go ahead and get all of your supplies out, and what you'll need is you'll have a mask. Now, everybody's masks might be a little bit different. You might have one that's kind of the similar shape to this one. You might have one that almost looks like a butterfly. You might have one that looks, with a little bit of fancy. One that almost looks like a tiara. They're all sorts of different shapes. So you guys might have different ones that one Mrs. V has, okay? Now, this is my sample one, but I already started mine a little bit. I wanted to get a head start. I found that markers tend to work the best. Now, if you only have crayons at home, that's perfectly fine. The crayons will work just fine. But if you have markers, you might want to get those. You'll find that coloring is a little bit easier. But you guys can make your masks however you want. So if you want stripes, if you want just all one color, if you want to do half and half, if you want to do polka dots, whatever you want. Now, you're also going to see other supplies. Like, look, I have feathers. You guys should have a little bit of feathers in your bag. You should have some like jewels. They're kind of like stickers. You'll have some jewels. Some might be like that. Some might be big shapes. Some might be stars, circles, hearts, squares. So there's all sorts of different kinds that you guys will have in your bag, okay? If you have some that are like this that are loose, you might have those. You might have some that are on like a little clear piece of paper. You might have all sorts of stuff, okay? So go ahead and start working. You're gonna want to do your coloring or your markers or whatever you choose to make your mask with. You're going to want to do that part first, okay? And you will need some glue if you choose to use your feathers. Now, just because you have feathers and have jewels does not mean you have to use them. They're just there if you choose to have them. I wanted to use my feathers. So in time for me to help you, I did mine ahead of time. So that's why part of my mask is already done. But I'm gonna finish my mask with you guys, okay? So I'm just gonna finish coloring mine here, and I have markers, and I'm just gonna finish doing mine, and you guys can start coloring on yours. I absolutely loved seeing all of the pictures of your guys's shields and your catapults and everything from Tuesday. Those were awesome, and I am so very excited. I would absolutely love if you had like mom or dad or grandma and grandpa or older brother, sister, auntie, uncle, whoever you have with you, I would love, love, love even more if you had them take a picture of you in your masquerade mask. I can't wait to see all the pretty masks that you guys make. You guys did such an awesome job at being so creative and colorful and designs with your shields. I can't wait to see what you come up with for your masks. So I'm gonna finish coloring now you do not have to color the back side of your mask because that's the part that's gonna go against your face. So you don't need to color that. You can if you want, but be careful if you do use markers and it's still wet. You don't want to get your face dirty, okay? And of course, Mrs. V likes colors, so mine again, and I like stripes for some reason. I always tend to do coloring stripes with just about every project we do. So I've got some bright color stripes, and the rest of my mask right here is actually going to be yellow. And I will show you why I'm doing this last part much bigger. Now you guys can do whatever you want. And like I said, I would love to see pictures of your finished masks. Now if you use your feathers and things, you'll need to wait for those to dry before you can let me see your pictures of them. So we're gonna finish this up here. Now when you're all done coloring your mask, whatever it may be, then you can decide if you want to use your little jewels or if you want to use your feathers, or if you don't want to use them, that's awesome too, because there's going to be some awesome ones that turn out that don't even have any of that stuff on them. So it's totally up to you on how you want to decorate your mask. And this is your mask for our ball here. And I'm almost done. Now you can color the edges. You'll kind of see, I'll try to go a little closer. So you can see how this edge is white, but this one right here is orange because I colored it. You can do that if you want to finish it off. I use my marker and just kind of go to the side here. If you're using your crayons or colored pencils, you'll kind of do the same thing. And if you want to do that little edge part, you can. If you don't want to, you do not have to. I'm doing mine just because I think it makes it just look a little bit finished. And I don't want any of the white showing on my front part of my mask. So that's why I'm doing the sides. I almost decided to leave my yellow part white because it just looks so cool already. But I'm liking the yellow. It makes it a little bit brighter. Okay. So if you want to stop coloring for just 1 second and look and see. Now if you have these individual, which means separate, like one at a time, type of jewels, and you want to use them, on the back side there's a little piece of paper. If you peel that paper off, there's a sticky, and they stick on just like a sticker, okay? If you happen to have ones in your bag for today that are on like a little clear sheet, all you have to do, I'll see if I can do them. Mine are really tiny. The ones you guys have are mostly bigger. You just peel them off, and the back side is sticky, and you can just stick and push it on there just like a sticker. See, so now it stays. Okay, so that's how you put your jewels on. Okay, and you can put them all over or not at all, whatever you decide. Okay, so I'm gonna put a couple more on mine here, and then I want to show you how, if you choose to use your feathers, kind of the best way to do that is. Okay, so give me 1 second, and I'm gonna finish putting some of these on here just to give it a little bit of shine. Mrs. V's fingers are much bigger than yours, and these little jewels that Mrs. V ended up having are super tiny. So I'm trying not to drop them. Okay, I'm gonna do, I think, 2 more. Okay, there's one, and here's my last one. And you do not have to use, if you choose to use your jewels, you don't have to use all of them. If you choose to use your feathers, you do not have to use all of them. You can save them for something else. Oh, there we go. So there's my jewels. Now, you'll see Mrs. V's mask also has feathers. Okay, so what I did is I turned mine over and I attached them from the back side. So you didn't see the little stem, this piece here of my feather, because I really wanted you to just see the fun feathery part, okay? So what I did is I used that stem part and I put glue down there, and then I stuck it in the glue. Now, Mrs. V was not very patient in waiting for the glue to dry, because what I did is when I was so impatient and excited to keep working on my mask, that I didn't wait for the glue to dry, and then they weren't staying very well. So if you look kind of close, you'll see that Mrs. V also put a piece of tape over it. So you guys can decide whatever way is best for you to stick your feathers on there. I have a little bit of glue, and then I kind of held them in place with the tape. Okay, and you can kind of see there that there's tape on there if I kind of wiggle it a little bit. So you guys can use whatever you like to get yours to stay on. So what I want you to do for a moment is I want you to hit pause, and I want you to finish coloring and decorating and putting your jewels or feathers or not putting your jewels and feathers, and color and do whatever you want. And once your mask is completely decorated, I want you to hit play again, and then you'll be able to see how we're going to be able to wear a mask. So go ahead, and mom and dad or grandma, grandpa, or whoever's helping, push pause and finish your mask. And you'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. I can't wait to see your finished masks. So here's what we're gonna do. Now you're gonna see in your bag, you have a straw that's kind of made out of wood. You can hear it. Or boing, boing, elastic. Okay, so if you have a mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, or an older sibling that can maybe help. Now, if you want to use your as elastic to just put it around your head, all of your masks already have holes in them. Okay, everybody's mask has a hole. So if you want to use this to hold it onto your face, you're gonna put this through here. See if I can get mine to go through. You're going to put that through there, and then you're going to tie it in a knot, okay? And then you're going to do it the same on this side. And then you have your thing to hold your mask. Mrs. V does not like things around my head. So I'm going to use my straw and some tape. And I'm going to decide which side I want to put it on. So if I want to hold it this side or this side. And I think I'm going to put it on this side. So I'm going to turn my mask over. And I'm going to put my stick like this, and I'm going to tape it on, okay? You can also use a little bit of glue and tape, like I kind of did with my feathers, if you would like, okay? And I'm going to tape my stick or straw or handle, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to tape mine on here, okay? To hold it in place. And that's how I'm going to put my masks. So you can use the elastic band to put it on, and then you can just put it on and run around and dance and things like that. Or some masks are held in and you just hold it, okay? And because Mrs. V doesn't like a lot of things around her head and such, I'm gonna hold mine and put mine like this. So now, ta-da! Oh, you guys, I'm so excited to see all of your masks. I hope you had a great day at summer reading today. Just remember, let your glue dry first before you start using your mask too much if you use glue, and have a great time. Don't forget to take a picture and have mom and dad or grandma and grandpa post it on the library's Facebook page so I can see your wonderful masks. And make sure to have somebody come pick up your next week's kit on Monday so we can have a magical time next week. Can't wait to see your faces. Remember, read, read, read.